Hi, I'm Troy Dean, and in this video we're going to walk through the process of setting up member webinars using Infusionsoft, GoTo Webinar and PlusThis. The purpose of this video really is to help my team members understand why we use this process and just give them a visual overview of how the process works. I'm not going into great detail, I'm just painting a visual picture of the flow of information and how this process works. The reason that we do this is because we have members in our business accelerator group, and every month, or usually once every couple of weeks, we run a webinar for these members. And I want to maximize the number of members that get on these webinars. And so I have a choice. I can send an email out to all of my members saying, hey, we're running a webinar, here's a registration page, go and register. Or I can automatically register them on the webinar for them, so they don't have to jump through that hoop. They just get an email saying, hey, we've registered you for this webinar. Here's the link to go and join. Now, GoTo Webinar has some restrictions with their API, and it's difficult to just automatically register members on a webinar. So we use Infusionsoft for all our email communications. We use GoTo Webinar to run the webinar because it's a very solid platform and allows us to record the webinars and allows us to get people on the call and have conversations with them. And we use a tool called PlusThis to get Infusionsoft and GoTo Webinar to talk to each other. So again, not any great detail here, but here's an overview of what this process looks like. The very first step in this process is to tag the member in Infusionsoft. So we have a saved search in Infusionsoft, which shows us all of our active members. We simply pull up that saved search in the contact screen in Infusionsoft, and then we apply a tag to all of those members in Infusionsoft, which triggers a campaign in Infusionsoft. And what that does is step 2 is it uses PlusThis and it registers all of those members in GoTo Webinar, and then it fills in the custom fields in Infusionsoft. And the custom fields are the name of the webinar and the link to join the webinar. So our email template in Infusionsoft says, hi, Paul, you've been registered on this month's webinar, which is called, and then we insert a placeholder for the custom field webinar title. And this webinar is on this particular time and date, which we fill in manually. And then we say, hey, here's the link to join the webinar. And that link is a custom field, which is the webinar join link. So PlusThis takes the members from Infusionsoft, registers them in GoTo Webinar, and then fills those custom fields back in Infusionsoft for all of the members. Step number 3 then is Infusionsoft sends out the registration and the follow-up emails to the members, because the emails that come out of GoTo Webinar are horrible. So we have our own Infusionsoft templates that look nice, that go out to our members and remind them about the webinar. 24 hours before the webinar, we remind them, and we also remind them an hour before 15 minutes before the webinar to tell them, hey, it's starting in 15 minutes, get on the call. Then what happens is we use GoTo Webinar to run the webinar and record the webinar, and then we use PlusThis, which happens in the Infusionsoft campaign. PlusThis then tags the members back in Infusionsoft as either attended or absent, did not attend. So each member has a tag placed on their record based on whether or not they attended the webinar. And then the final step is in Infusionsoft, we send them the correct follow-up email based on whether or not they attended. So if you attended, the email might say something like, hey Paul, thanks for attending the webinar earlier today. I've just posted a recording up in the members website so you can go and rewatch it anytime. And if you didn't attend, it might say, hi Paul, sorry you missed the webinar this morning. It was a cracker. I've just posted the recording up in the members website. Make sure you go and watch it and download any templates that we talked about. So that at a high level is a visual overview of why we run this process and the different parts to the process and the different tools that we use. Please feel free to share this with anyone who you think might find it useful, and tell me if I'm doing things wrong, or if you think we can be doing better. Leave me some comments and tell me your process, and if you think there's anything that we can improve here. Until next time, I'm Troy Dean. Stay curious and make some noise.